Today's financial mystery is solving the retirement riddle. This is Eileen St. Pierre, the Everyday Financial Planner. The question I get all the time is, Eileen, how much money should I save for retirement? So for many people, this is a real retirement riddle for them, and they really want to know what the right answer should be. Now, everyone's financial situation is unique, so therefore their retirement situation will be unique. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 retirement rules of thumb to help you solve the retirement riddle. Now remember, rules of thumb are just starting points. So rule number 1, save 15% of your income per year for retirement. And this would include any employer match that you get. Now 15% is too tough for you to do right now. Maybe you've got some student loan payments, credit card debt. Just start somewhere. Start at 1%, 2%. Then gradually increase the percentage each year. And if you get any raises, put that raise toward your retirement. Now, if you've gotten a late start on your retirement savings, you may have to save more than 15%. It does depend on your situation. How much money you're going to need in retirement will depend on your lifestyle in retirement. And if you are one of the chosen few who still expects to receive a pension, a pension is a monthly income for the rest of your life, then you may not need to save as much. But I would caution you there because many pensions nowadays are under threat. So you don't want to take that pension too much for granted. Now, the second rule of thumb is to create a retirement portfolio based on your age. Vanguard founder John Bogle suggested putting 100 minus your age, that percentage, into stocks, and then the rest in bonds. Stocks are riskier assets than bonds. So as you age, money is shifted from riskier stocks into safer bonds. Now this makes a whole lot of sense to me. So if you're 40 years old, you would put 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds under this rule of thumb. But when you're 50, you should have 50% in stocks and 50% in bonds, a safer portfolio. Now, I consider this a conservative asset allocation strategy. So if you are willing to take on more risk, or maybe you need to take on more risk because you started saving later in life, then you might want to put a higher percentage into stocks and less in bonds. Now, under this rule of thumb, you would need to rebalance your portfolio at a minimum every year. And for many people, this is a real daunting challenge. Now, if you don't want to do this portfolio rebalancing on your own, that's where target date or life cycle funds come in. And if you're a Fidelity investor, they call these freedom funds. These are the default investments in your workplace retirement plans now. And they will do this rebalancing for you. For example, you'll see a date next to the name of the fund. For example, a target date 2050 or a life cycle 2050. And what that means is that date is when you're assumed to be starting to withdraw the funds in retirement. Now, you don't have to take it out on that date. That just gives the portfolio manager a benchmark to rebalance towards. Now, they tend to use a much more aggressive formula when allocating money to stocks. And it may be closer to the 125 minus your age percentage versus the 100 minus your age percentage we mentioned earlier. Now, if you're worried that too much money is being put into the stock market, remember that the closer in the date, the less money is allocated to stocks. So if your default investment was target date 2050, but you want to start out initially at a lower level of stock, then put your money into a target date 2045 or a target date 2040. Okay, you're not required to use the target date that matches your age. You are free to move your money around. You can adjust your portfolio to match your risk level. Now, our final rule of thumb is for retirement benchmark, multiply your salary by your age. So by age 30, you should have 1 times your salary put away for retirement. So if you're earning $50,000 a year, you should have $50,000 saved for retirement. Now, by age 40, it goes up to 3 times your salary. So if you're making at age 40 $70,000, you should have $210,000 saved for retirement. At age 50, the multiplier goes up to 6 times your salary. Now remember, when you turn age 50, the IRS allows you to make catch-up contributions to your retirement account. That's in addition to your regular contributions. So you can really start putting away a lot more for retirement when you turn 50. At age 60, the multiplier goes up to 8 times your salary. So at age 60, if you're making $100,000 a year, you should have $800,000 saved for retirement. At age 67, that's the full retirement age for most of you. That would be 10 times your salary. Now, this retirement benchmark relies on several assumptions. Number one, you save 15% of your annual income for retirement. Now, if you follow our first rule of thumb, you're going to do that. Second, you invest more than 50% of your retirement portfolio in stocks on average over your lifetime. Now, if you follow rule of thumb number 2, you're going to achieve that. Our third assumption is that you retire at age 67. And finally, that you have the same lifestyle as you did before you retired. So the answer to the retirement riddle is the more you save, the more control you have over your own retirement. This video has been brought to you by the Choctaw Asset Building Program. I hope you've been able to solve the retirement riddle. Until our next financial mystery, this has been Eileen St. Pierre, the Everyday Financial Planner.